So this is a 3-hour boot camp and it's designed for everyone. So before we get started, if you're not a LAER agent, totally not a big deal. You're going to get as much today out of today's program, whether you're a LAER agent or not a LAER agent. We designed this to help all great real estate agents grow and flourish in their businesses. So I'm so appreciative every month when we get so many agents that join this program, because the tools, the training, the technology, when you harness these things for your business, it changes your quality of life. So I had an agent ask me last week, like, what does it matter if I actually use the technology? And I said the technology and the tools, all of the, and really systems, because I'll talk a lot about systems throughout today's program. Like anytime you can find a set it and forget it system for your business, you have to sign up, because all of the systems and tools and technology, all of that collapses time for you so that you can do the things that you love most in the world. You could spend time with family, you can travel, you can enjoy all the things that you hope for and designed for your life. But first, you got to tweak all the little tools and get the systems and everything working for your benefit so that the business is always coming, even if you're not focused on it for a certain number of hours a day. In other words, what I'm trying to say, like, what would your life look like if you had 28 hours in a day? Well, if you have great systems and you have great technology, that's what great systems do. When everybody else in the world is working off of a 24-hour day, you're working off a 28-hour day, because you've saved time by tapping into resources for your business so that you can go do the stuff that you really love and be with the people that you really love. So we're going to dig in. This is a 3-hour program. I always tell everybody that joins us each month, we'll try to get out a little bit early, but it's super hard because we want to condense everything into a jam-packed session. So there's tons and tons of info that we're going to share over the next 3 hours. We're going to give you listing presentations, buyer presentations, marketing materials. We're going to tell you which systems are best suited, like that set it and forget it systems for your business, so that you can go start utilizing the systems to get your extra 4 hours per day. So it is super jam-packed. Typically we go right to noon, but I try to streamline it just a little bit each month to make life even easier. Tons of stuff and tons of resources that we are about to cover. So first thing, let me just reshare. Like I said, Zoom changed a couple things in the last I think 2 weeks. So Zoom is just a little bit different and a little more, I won't say it's less user friendly. I'll just say that it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. So I'm sure it's just as user friendly, but like anything new, we will have to get used to it. So I am going to pull up the LAER Program and Services Guide. Again, this program is for any real estate agent from any brokerage. It is not a recruiting presentation by any means. It is all like just the tools and resources available for agents to use to collapse time, to get the extra 4 hours a day so you can build a better business, which will allow for a better life. So this is the LAER Program and Services Guide. You can download this, by the way, at laerrealty.com / Sergio put it on there. Let's see.
Success tools.
Yeah, success tools. I haven't had enough coffee yet today. laerrealty.com / success tools. You can download the most recent version of our LAER program guide. The reason I start with this, and we'll only spend a few minutes on it, is because you'll want to download this for your business, because we kind of put in there all kinds of tools. Not only that, when you download the PDF version of this, which you'll get at laerrealty.com/success tools, if you go to the very bottom of the screen, you can get a PDF version of it. It's wonderful if you can print it out and take notes on it throughout the day, but also there's clickable links in the PDF version. So as you go through the pages, we have like little tutorials and stuff like that built into the program guide, so that not only does it tell you about the tool or the training, but then you can click on it and go explore further. So you'll definitely want to download that. Again, it's laerrealty.com/success tools. It's like a 40-page magazine, basically. LAER Realty, quick rundown on LAER. We are independent real estate brokerage. We have offices all throughout Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, and Florida, and soon expanding into Connecticut and Rhode Island. So we cover a big area. Where we got our name from is when we started the brokerage 10 years ago. The vision was to help real estate agents achieve success and to accelerate their success. So not only do we want agents to make more money so that they can have a better quality of life, but we want to accelerate that success. We want to do it faster. So at the time, I kind of thought about like, what are the qualities of the highest producing agents, the best agents? The best agents are, they are work hard. They're really good at overcoming obstacles. So the best agents are super good. I always say they're great at negotiating through difficult terrain, but also negotiating in general, like negotiating ins and outs. But also the best agents are true protectors of their customers and clients. They don't focus on the money first, they focus on helping people. And 10 years ago, when we put those words into a Google search, like strong, protector, negotiator, a lion came up in our search. So I said, that's it. We're going to build our brand around the lions of real estate. In the jungle, lions hang out in lairs. In the real estate world, the lions of real estate are at LAER. We changed the spelling of LAER because ours is the mirror image of real, since we're in the real estate business. And then we created the acronym Local Agents Extraordinary Results. So I always tell people, when you see a lion statue in front of a house, that is because that lion is a symbol of protection for the home. We look at it that our for sale signs are a symbol of protection for the homeowners who hire our agents, the lions. Okay, so a little bit on our brokerage. We now have about 800 real estate agents spread out throughout multiple states, and we help about 4,000 families a year buy and sell real estate. As you go through the program guide, the first few pages just talk about our values. It then leads into the fact that we are independent. Mostly what makes me proud about being an independent is we are very rare. We are an endangered species, in fact, in our industry. So many of the brokerages out there are these huge conglomerates or franchises, and we're still a teeny little independent boutique real estate brokerage. We just happen to do a lot of business and we have a lot of real estate agents, but super proud of being independent. All right, now the meat of everything. This is going to take us right into the heart of what we're going to talk about today. And for the next hour or so, we're going to focus on marketing and branding, because that's one thing that many agents are seeking in their business. Like, what are best practices for staying in front of buyers and sellers? And how do I make my stuff look really good when I am in front of a buyer or a seller? In other words, how do I build my personal brand? Before I get started, I want to say the one thing that I always talk about at the beginning of every class is knowledge is not power, execution is power. So I'm very thankful that you are joining us for a program, whether you're taking the live class, which is always the first Friday of every month, or you're watching this later on our YouTube station. So by the way, if you can't stay to the end today, you can head over to our YouTube station at youtube.com/LAER, LAER training, and watch the replay of this. But most importantly, as we go throughout today, I am going to give you tips and tricks to think about, and things to execute on, because the power, if you want to be collapsing time, if you want to get 28 hours out of your 24-hour day, you're going to have to be executing on some items. That means like going and working, like putting stuff to work for you. So as we go, I'll give you some hints on some of the things I believe you should be executing on, and then we'll cover those at the end of the program. What's a good number? I think 5 to 10 items. Don't go crazy. We're gonna have literally 100 things you could go execute on today. The problem with that is that if you make your list too big, it gets overwhelming, and for many people that stunts them. If they see a huge list of things they have to execute on, they are less likely to actually execute. So I say 5 to 10 items is a good number. So as you go throughout today's program, have a pen and paper available, or if you've printed the program guide, just write down as you go the things that you're going to execute on, so that you can incorporate little shifts in your business, and we're going to get you an extra 4 hours a day. With that, let's go in and take a look at some of the marketing and branding available for your business. Okay, first place I want to take you is to LAERagentservices.com. Don't worry, even if you're not a LAER agent, you can actually head over and take a look at all the resources here. So one thing you'll note is, I'm just going to reshare. I don't trust Zoom right now because it's changed a little bit. Okay, so we're over at LAERagentservices.com. And don't worry, if you don't work here, you'll notice there's no passwords or anything. You can go right into the system. And we're going to start talking about some really awesome tools that you can use to download and start utilizing. By the way, if you have questions and you're watching the live program, which is the first Friday of the month, just type them into the chat box and we'll help you throughout today's program. But one of the things that we'll spend a great deal of time, at least an hour on, is like marketing pieces and branding pieces to get some packages ready for your business, so that you feel super confident that you're open for business. So right at the top of the LAER Agent Services site, you will see a directory of all kinds of information that will help you in your business. So for example, right at the top, you'll see a schedule of where our staff is at all of our locations. If you're a LAER agent, that's really just good if you're if you're a LAER agent and you need a client to drop off something at an office, you've got the schedule there, so you know which offices have staff regularly. You'll also find in here our LAER newsletter. This goes out to our agents. This is like an internal newsletter for LAER, just about all the good stuff happening within the brokerage on a regular basis. Like it does also talk about tools, training, and technology, but also we highlight what's happening in the lives of our team members. And then there's a section on marketing. Most of these links, by the way, will just head down here into the bottom area. So like for example, if you click on marketing, it's just going to bring you down to the marketing, branding, and presentations. If you click on growth and development, it's just going to bring you down to the growth and development. So it kind of like it helps you, it's just like a little navigation tab at the top. So next is we're gonna head down to these little houses. Now, one of the things we know about real estate agents is that they love looking at real estate. You guys love going in and out of houses all the time. So when we designed this agent services dashboard, we designed it with you in mind, with all these little houses that you can go in and explore as you have some time. And every house has a wealth of information, all designed to help you grow your business. The very first house will always take you to the LAER program and services guide that we just went through. So that's the document we just came from a moment ago. So if you ever need to download that again, you can either go to laerrealty.com/success tools, or you can head over to LAER Agent Services and check out our program guide. Also, if you're newly joined to our brokerage, we have this frequently asked questions area. It's all kinds of stuff. We'll go through. We have an amazing happy agent team that can answer questions for you whenever you need. But we also kind of every year we take all the questions we get the most through the Happy Agent portal, and then we answer them over here. So this frequently asked questions page is really good, just as a LAER agent for day-to-day help you might need. And then we have a section for newly joined agents with like social media, stuff like that, for to announce that you've made a change. All right, and then if we go down a little further, you'll see the agents that most recently joined the brokerage. If you're an agent that joined and you don't see yourself here, it's probably because we're waiting on something, either a bio or a photo. So once we have your bio and photo, we automatically upload you and do a welcome post to our system. All right, now we're gonna head down to the marketing and branding stuff. We have so much awesome stuff. All right, I'm just taking notes here because I'm going to go through stuff that I think you should add to your to-do list for things that you're going to execute on. So just like you, I am writing a list of helpful things to execute. So, all right. Let's head over first to guides, presentations, and brochures. This comes down to branding yourself and looking super professional when you show up. There's also another piece to this, but before I go there, let's just click over to guides, presentations, and brochures. When you go into this section and you scroll, you are going to find all kinds of pieces. Marketing plans. Here's a piece on owning versus renting. And we just updated our expired listing packet, so many agents are now focusing on expired listings. We have all kinds of presentations, buyer guides, seller guides, listing presentations, buyer presentations, script books, you name it, it's here for you to utilize. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of pieces that you can go in, but we're going to focus on a few that are super necessary for your business. So before we dive into some of these marketing pieces, any agent can utilize any of the pieces. So that's important to note. Also, you can change out anything on any of the pieces. So you can add your photo, you can change a logo, you can make it anything you want. These are all 100% customizable pieces. I want to take you down because I think what I'll start with is a buyer presentation, because that's one of the things that we'll put onto our to-do list. So we have buyer guides. Here's one, a LAER guide to buyer representation New England. Okay, first thing I want to point out, everything we have for marketing is in Canva. So couple things that you need to know about Canva. in case you've never used it. Many of you have used Canva a million times. You can use it on your desktop and you can use it on your phone. And there's two versions of Canva. There is a free version and there is a paid version. The paid version is $15 a month, 15 per month, $15 a month. They also give you a discount if you're paying for the whole thing upfront. So should you do the free version or the paid version? Well, no matter what, you get a free 30-day trial. So at a minimum, if you've never used it, I'd go do the pro version, the $15 version for free for 30 days to try it out. The difference between the free versus the paid version is as follows. The paid version has like 11 million stock images. So a stock image is like this image over here where you see like a house. There's anything that is like not an image that you took. So like images of houses or happy families moving into houses with moving boxes or landscapes or literally anything. So the paid version has 11 million images to choose from for all of your marketing pieces. The free version has something like 1 million images to choose from. So no matter what, even if you're using the free version, you're still getting about 1 million stock images to choose from. However, we're in the marketing business. I mean, we're in the business of getting people to choose us. We're constantly auditioning for our next role, our next listing presentation or buyer presentation. So with that being said, I like having the upgraded version, the $15 a month version. And you'll see throughout today's program, I don't go crazy telling you to spend money because most of the stuff you need to be super successful in this business, you don't need a lot of money to do. But Canva is one of those I highly recommend that you have the upgraded version of Canva for $15 a month. And then you have 11 million stock images to choose from. As well, if you are, many of our agents like to schedule out all of their social media posts from Canva. And under the pro version, the $15 a month version, you can do that. So you can go log into your Canva each week and schedule out an entire month's worth of content for your Facebook and LinkedIn and stuff like that, which is also nice. One of the nice things about using a scheduling software for your social media, such as Canva, is it keeps you off of the social media platform. I think there's a lot of negative energy on social media in general, people comparing themselves with each other. So this allows you to schedule everything out so you have a presence on social media without you actually having to sit on social media and look at what's happening and who's saying what and who says they're successful and who doesn't, things like that. So huge fan of the paid version of Canva. Now, all of our pieces are typically created in the paid version of Canva. So let's click on one of these. By the way, in case you've never used Canva, when you click on any of our pieces that I just showed you, I'm going to show you a buyer presentation just as one document so you can see the type of stuff that you have access to. When you click on a template, it becomes yours. So you don't have to worry about, wow, if I go in and change this, now everybody who clicks on it is going to see my changes. No, under the way the templating works in Canva is once you click on the template, it is now your version of whatever the document is. So I just clicked on this. This is now my version. Any changes I make are all mine. Nobody else is going to see them. Now, if you're using the free version of Canva and we used the paid version of Canva, here's the caveat. Every once in a while, you will see an image. So let's go look at a couple of the images. Like, for example, look at this image of a kitchen with a big couch out front and stuff like that. I don't know whether that's a paid pro version image of Canva or free version. But what will happen is if there are pictures within our marketing pieces here that we got those images because they were pro images, and you're using the free version of Canva, what's going to happen is you're going to see a big Canva watermark across the image. So does that mean you can't use the whole buyer presentation? No, you can definitely still use the whole buyer presentation, but you will have to change the photo out. So if you're using the free version of Canva, sometimes you're going to have to change out photos on some of the pieces I'm showing you today. It will tell you which ones because you're going to see a big Canva watermark across an image, and that is a notification to you that you're going to have to change out the image. What happens if you don't? Well, you'll have a Canva watermark on your image, but also it won't let you download the document. So at a later date, if you want to go download your presentation so that it's like in a PowerPoint format or a PDF format, maybe it's like a buyer guide that you're handing someone, it won't let you download it if any of those pieces have the Canva watermark on it. So that's kind of the only caveat around the Canva stuff. One other piece I want to point out, because I know I could see we already have a mix of people on today's program. You'll notice when you look at some of our marketing pieces that some of them are built for New England and some of them are built for Florida. The reason for that is depending on what state you work in, there's different types of agency. So when you are utilizing the pieces, you want to make sure that your pieces align with the type of agency that your company practices. So, for example, in New England, we are fiduciaries, buyer and seller fiduciaries. So we practice buyer agency and seller agency, where we are the representative of the buyer and seller in, for example, Massachusetts. In Florida, we're not. We're transaction brokers, which is super typical in Florida. So if you're in Florida working as a real estate agent at a brokerage, you are probably a transaction brokerage. And there is a lower level of fiduciary responsibility because you're representing a transaction, not your buyer and not your seller. So that is why when you go through some of the marketing pieces, we've been thoughtful throughout the pieces to say, hey, this piece is for Florida and this one is for New England. There's lots of pieces in there that really don't talk about relationship at all. So tons of pieces within our system, like marketing pieces in general, that don't talk about fiduciary relationships. So the piece works just as well for a Florida agent as a New England agent. But for everybody else, and for listing and buyer presentations specifically, we wanted to have two different versions because we're going to make less promises as a fiduciary in the Florida presentations than the Mass presentations. Okay, that's it for caveats. Now we can actually look at the sample presentation. So as you go through all of the pieces available within our site, one of the things to think about, some of you have been on our Algor-WIN training program. We just launched our 12-week program, and it's a phenomenal program if you're not doing 30 transactions a year and you want to get up to 30 transactions a year, because the Algor-WIN program focuses on 7 simple checklists. It is built off of the idea of the checklist manifesto. The checklist manifesto is a book by Atul Gawande, and it says that we as humans are a byproduct of the checklists we work off of. And interestingly, we all have checklists. We just might not even realize it. So like when you wake up in the morning, you have a checklist of things you do. brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, getting ready, ironing your clothes, things like that. You have a checklist of things you do for many pieces of your life. You don't think about it because checklists become ingrained in us. But also in the very best industries out there, the people, so for example, let's just say the airline industry, there are several checklists that the captain of an airline does prior to takeoff, prior to landing. So there's all these little systems because success is a byproduct of really good checklists. By the way, if you haven't checked out our Algor-WIN system and you're interested in joining us for that, you can go to LAERrealty.com/12-week Algor-WIN. And it's every Monday at 10:30. We do a live program and it's a 12-week program. And we've only had one. So you only missed the first one, which you can catch on our YouTube station. But back to our presentation. Every presentation we do is a checklist. So I like to say to real estate agents that if you find that you are constantly having to overcome objections when you go on a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, etc., if you're constantly having to overcome objections, it is because your checklist stinks. You need a better checklist. Your checklist is your presentation. When you overcome an objection, that means that you have to go back and revamp the checklist so you have a better checklist moving forward. But your buyer presentation, listing presentations, these are just checklists for your business. So you have to have them. You have to, if you want to have any level of success, you absolutely have to have a great presentation. And it's nice that it looks pretty, but most importantly, it checks the boxes on some certain things that you need to express to the buyer that you're working with or the seller that you're working with. It creates expectation management. It makes sure that the consumer knows who you are and what you bring to the table for service. I won't spend a ton of time on this. This is just one. This is a sample buyer presentation that we have a few of them on the site that I just showed you at LAER Agent Services. As you could see, as you go through it, you would go through and customize this with your name and phone number and photo and stuff like that. Your About Me section, about your company. And then I think it's a good idea to put in some social proof of how great you are. And one of the ways to do that is with client feedback. And then we have to go through the 10-step buying process because this checklist is about providing value to the person we're sitting with. Now, what's wonderful about this particular buyer presentation is up until August of last year, so many real estate agents didn't have a buyer presentation. We had listing presentations because we were asking sellers to sign a long-term commitment with us to sell their property. Up until August of last year, many agents weren't asking the buyer to make a commitment of any type. They said, okay, I'll just go out and show you a whole bunch of houses, and I hope that I'm so good and we have such rapport that you're going to end up buying a house through me. So we didn't need, or many agents weren't using buyer presentations because they were just relying on their good looks and good service to make sure the customers worked with them. Truly though, not having those presentations always eventually led to disappointment because at some point along the way, the buyer would eventually maybe couldn't get a hold of their real estate agent right away and would go make a call to another real estate agent to go see the house because they don't want to lose it, and now you've lost the buyer. So this is life-changing to have a great buyer presentation so that you show the presentation, and at the end, we're going to ask the consumer to make a commitment to us. Is that a big deal? No, that's what we've done in our industry for 20 years when it comes to listings. It's absolutely not a big deal to ask for a commitment that, hey, I am going to give you my valuable time and resources and knowledge. I want a commitment. So we have to turn that into a checklist, and that checklist is your buyer presentation. We've already created this one. It's awesome. You can go in and customize it further. You can delete stuff and add stuff, but we basically in this turn it into a 10-step buying process. And the first step of the process is evaluation, consultation, and representation. We lead with the facts like, hey, we're going to ask you for a commitment so that it's already out of the way. We don't want them thinking the whole program, the whole presentation, like, oh, are they going to ask me for something? No, we're asking for it right up front. We want, it's one of the most important decisions they're going to make in their lifetime. We're going to show them the value we have. And right from the start, we're going to say that the point of the presentation is that they need representation. So it talks about, do I need a buyer agent and how are agents paid, and buyer representation contract. By the way, the Florida version of this is slightly different. It's very, very similar, but just a little bit different because the buyer representation piece is different in Florida, as I mentioned. And then actually, this is just a sample Massachusetts buyer agreement, but you would have your own. So whatever buyer agreement you're using, you would screenshot it, put it into the presentation. And then you want to highlight the fact that we're going to ask the seller to pay for the buyer agent fee, and what is the mechanism that we're going to use for doing that. Some of you have it built right into the offer, etc. So we kind of go through it really fast because we don't want it to be like it's a big deal. This is just like a no-brainer. You need buyer representation, and here's how it works, and here's how I get paid. And by the way, going to ask the seller to pay it first. Number 2, we're going to talk about price range. Evaluate mortgage options, shop for more than rate, getting pre-approved, mortgage insurance. Step 3, we're going to evaluate communities. Step 4, we're going to shop for a home. I'm not going to go through all of these because you guys can do it, but I specifically wanted to cover this one because this comes down to a checklist that's really important. We're going to go to step 4. We're excited. We're going to shop for real estate. And what does that look like in shopping for real estate? And here's where I want to talk about the importance of a checklist. So as you start working using checklists for your business, including like a buyer presentation, you're going to notice throughout your career as a real estate agent, things are not always going to go the way you want them to. Things are going to break down. Now, oftentimes, the better your checklist, the less things are going to not work out because checklists turn chaos into clarity. So life just gets easier when you have all these checklists. So this one is important because I can't tell you the number of times up until the last couple of years, and I think a lot of this has come down to getting better, our agents getting better at talking about it. Agents would say to me, yeah, I had this buyer I was working with, and I worked with them for the last 6 months. I showed them 30 houses, and then they found a house they loved on Zillow, and they contacted the agent right on Zillow, and I lost the transaction. That is a shame, and it is our fault for not telling the consumer why they should not be on Zillow shopping for real estate in the first place. So what great agents do is say, okay, I lost a deal to Zillow. I am going to go back and revamp my checklist, i.e. my presentation, to talk about Zillow in my presentation. So we added a slide here to talk about all the reasons why the consumer should not be on Zillow shopping for real estate. By the way, it's not a real-time update. Zillow does not update the solds right away because they're not in the business of selling real estate. They don't care if the consumer finds the house of their dreams. They just want names and email addresses. You also can't narrow your search. So the consumer can only narrow their search criteria within $50,000 increments. So you can't go down to a $10,000 increment, for example. It's only $50,000 increments. Why? Because they want you to get lots of real estate. They don't care if it's within the price range that the consumer wants. Also, too often, the buyer thinks they're actually contacting the listing agent to ask questions about the property. We know that's not true. They're actually usually contacting whatever real estate agent is paying Zillow. Also, his estimates are super inaccurate and the consumer will get inundated by sales calls. So we put all that this is a part of the checklist that the agent should be talking about Zillow within their presentation. By the way, here's another one that has caused many agents to update their checklist, i.e. their buyer presentation. What do I do if I'm visiting an open house? What do I say to the other real estate agent who's hosting the open house? Let's just get that out of the way and include dialogue for the buyer right in our presentation. How about off-market properties? What should the buyer do if they drive by a for sale by owner? Or somebody at their corporate headquarters is selling a house and they're interested in going and looking at it. These are all things that if you don't have them as part of your checklist, you're losing business. But there's still going to be other things, and I won't go through all this. It's in like property due diligence, pricing, offer, and strategy, etc., etc. I want to show you some of the other pieces, but mostly what I want you to know is that when you have a strong presentation, first of all, it's super easy to get the consumer to sign a long-term commitment, just like it is on a listing. You guys have done it on listings for 30 years. Super easy. You articulate your value and you ask for a commitment. That's what a great buyer presentation does. Same exact thing. Not a problem getting a commitment when you've articulated your value, which is what a really good buyer presentation does. But most importantly, I want you to realize that your buyer presentation is your checklist manifesto. Your listing presentation is a checklist manifesto as well. There's tons of stuff. The best way to actually go through all these items is to just really go and explore. We have like buyer guides and seller guides. We have a wonderful listing presentation. Let's go take a look at, for example, the buyer guide. So all these are meant to be customized to you. I won't go through everything on this, but this is like, I think it's a 18-page booklet about buying a house. All the work is done for you here. You can go out and you can go through and change whatever you want. If you're a LAER agent, you want help changing anything, just pick out what you want, which pieces you want, and email happyagent@laerrealty.com and our marketing team can help you. There's other cool pieces. I love these little Monopoly board flyers. I think they're super cute to include in your buyer packages or seller packages. So it just shows like the buying process from start to finish. On a Monopoly board, there's a seller version of this as well. All these are meant to be customized. A trusted vendor list. We talk about this a lot in the Algor-WIN program, that if you don't have a huge database, maybe you're newer to the business, the best way to build a database very, very quickly is by leveraging other people who have big databases. Who has big databases? It is the vendors we work with. The landscaping company in our area, the plumber, the movers, the painters, the people who are doing business just like you in the neighborhoods that you're doing business in. So one of the ways to build a database quickly is to start leveraging your trusted vendors. We have a whole program, and we talk about it a lot in the Algor-WIN program as well. We have these little local guides. These are cute for open houses that if you're doing an open house in like Westford, Mass, or Delray Beach, Florida, you can make these little local guides of what's happening in those market, like what's the best brewery in the area, what's the best library, what's the best park, bike path, local boutique. What's cool about these is, again, you can leverage the people in your community to build your database. So if you're featuring a coffee shop on your local guide, or a breakfast place, you make sure to print these out. They're wonderful for your packages and for your open houses, but also you need to bring them to the vendors that you're promoting and say, hey, could I leave these here? I've featured you as a top 10 place to go and visit in our market area. Can I leave some of these little guides at your place of business? And usually the answer is yes. So tons of stuff here. Best way for you to go check it all out is just to explore when you have some free time. Again, it's at LAER Agent Services, and we went under guides, presentations, and brochures. So I'm just making notes because I'm going to give you guys some homework if you don't already have some of these things that you've executed on. But I'm going to finish out the marketing and branding section first. We also have this great resource here. We went through massive changes, as most of you know, in August. And we created some wonderful NAR settlement resources for you. I hope you don't need these anymore. I hope it's so secondhand, all the changes. That's how it should feel to you. But we wrote a whole book on all the form changes. So you can go to the Lear playbook to the new real estate forms. We wrote like a 150-page booklet for all of New England and Florida of what the new forms are, how to fill them out, what the changes were. But also, if you go down here, we created some nice articles for you to utilize to give to buyers and sellers. If you need an article on why a buyer should be represented and not work directly with the seller, we've got articles here. So we went out and we found all the best news articles for you so that you could include these in your buyer or seller packages. So sometimes you have to explain to a buyer why they should have representation and pay for it. Most likely they will get a much better deal on a property than if they go direct to the seller. Sometimes you're actually having to explain to a seller why they should be paying the buyer agent fee. So we've got both types of articles, and we have some videos, stuff like that. Again, I'm not going to go through it. Hopefully it's all secondhand to you now, but if you need some pieces to include in your presentation, you can find it under NAR settlement resources. We also have our weekly social media assistant. If you're a LAER agent, we create all of your social media pieces each week. We text them to you on Mondays, but we also leave them over into this social media assistant section. So if you want to come back and find something from 3 months ago that you liked and you want to share it now, there's a little inventory of pieces there. If you're a LAER agent and you want special marketing requests, there's a button right here. So this could be anything. Like maybe you want a 4-page brochure for your new $2 million listing. We have an amazing marketing team that can literally help you with anything. Open house resources, all kinds of awesome stuff here for open houses. First of all, if you're a LAER agent and you need coverage for an open house, We have 800 agents. We have agents that want to do your open house for you. Just go in here and fill out the form about where the open house is, what the dates are you're thinking, and then you pick which LAER offices do you want to notify. So email goes out to those agents. Always we can fill an open house. We also have something very similar for broker open house notifications, because if you're hosting a broker open, we want to make sure our team is there. Scroll down, there's all kinds of other cool stuff for you to check out. We have open house sign-in sheets, all different versions, interior signs. So maybe you're expecting a very busy open house and you want to put little signs around the house to let the people wandering around know certain things about the property. You can put that in there. Also we have some open house marketing. So I think these are really cute. They're little tags to put on like microwave popcorn. So just a little thing that says, thanks for popping by my open house. And you just print those out and you tie them onto your popcorn. We have a couple versions of that. We also have an activity sheet for kids. So this is wonderful to print out. I think whenever you do an open house, you should have like a little activity area for kids, so that if a family comes through and the parents are interested in like exploring the property, they don't have little kids saying, hey, can we go? I'm hungry. So have like a little area with some crayons where the little kids can go and draw or do a word search or color, things like that. So that's all under the open house section. We also have a whole section here of commercial resources. If you're an agent that's exploring commercial real estate as a niche for your business, then there's tons of resources here. So we have commercial listing presentation, commercial offering memorandums, our commercial logos. We also have some commercial real estate classes there. The ROAR report. This one I'll spend just a couple minutes on. When you're building your brand in real estate, there's a couple different newsletters that can help you build your brand. One is having a print newsletter, like a newsletter that you hand out to people at open houses. Some agents mail them. So there's print newsletters and e-newsletters. Both of them have qualities that can expand and help your business. The email newsletters are wonderful for set it and forget it. Like, hey, just to stay in touch with somebody. That's not what we're talking about here. The ROAR report that we put out each month is a 4-page newsletter, which most agents print. There's new content every single month. And it's a 4-page newsletter that you would print out and leave at open houses, the local coffee shop, the local doctor's office. It's like one of those little pieces that when somebody's like out for breakfast and they're looking for something to kind of flip through, that's what the ROAR report is. So this is printed newsletter. When you open it, you will see that it's got these big red circles on it. By the way, you could change anything on these newsletters. You could delete anything. You could delete a whole article, but we put red circles around the areas where you have to update your name and your cell phone or your email, things like that. Once you update it, you just delete the red circle. So these only take about 5 minutes to customize it to you. Towards the back, you'll just want to add your photo and contact information. So we have some agents that use this a couple of different ways. Number one, you could feature on here like your favorite mortgage company each month and have them pay for part of the cost of mailing it to your database, so that everybody in your database is receiving a printed piece each month. The other way some agents use it is to build their business using that vendor program we talked about. If you don't have a database, you can build one fairly quickly with a vendor platform. So by tapping into the people who are already doing business in your marketplace, tapping into their database. So how do you tap into their database? Well, you feature them in your newsletter for one, and then you ask them to distribute the newsletter to their sphere of influence. So that there's a whole program around building a database by leveraging vendors. But here we've done all the work for you. This changes every single month. So each month there's a brand new ROAR report for you to take advantage of. Let's see. All right. We also have a house here with all kinds of logos and images. We also have one here. The last three are pretty important. We have a whole section here on seasonal pop-by tags. If you participate in our Algor-WIN program, one of the things that we have you doing on a regular basis is getting out and visiting people and always bringing a small item of value. Well, what do you bring with you? It can be something so tiny, but we want to have it branded to you. So we created all of these pop-by tags for you. And we add to these all the time, but for example, let's go find something good for I kind of like this, the extra gum one. I will go the extra mile for your referrals. So these are, you print out and basically cut out, you can print them out on sticky paper too and kind of tape them on to something. Or a lot of agents just put a little hole in it and tie a ribbon around it. Let's do a couple others. We also have candles. Working with a real estate agent you trust makes sense. And you would deliver a small item of value like a candle. Let's see. Ooh, Valentine hearts. The little hearts, candy hearts. This one, hold on. This one, you are the heart of my business. So little Valentine's treats just so you can go out. By the way, you could just do like a box of candy with these as well, a box of Valentine's candy to get out and visit some clients or past customers or really anybody. It could be your neighbors, like just saying, hey, today I'm gonna spend a half an hour and go drop off a candy heart with my branding on it and just get out, visit my neighbors and say hello, and just as a sweet little reminder that I'm in real estate. So we have all of your pop-by tags there. Okay, two other things. First, right here, we have the LAER listing description generator. By the way, you can use this even if you're not a LAER agent. So yes, you can go to ChatGPT and create wonderful listing presentations. Sometimes agents think ChatGPT is a little clunky. So we made our own form where you just fill out information about your listing, you put in your email address, and the system immediately emails you a listing description for your property. So super easy to use. It takes 3 minutes and it can talk about giving you an extra hour in your day to not have to sit and write a wonderful listing description. This does it for you. It gets emailed directly to you as well. We have an agent bio generator. So one of the things, one of my pet peeves as a real estate broker is so many agents have terrible bios, like on their website, like they don't take any time to put a professional photo and a bio about who they are. And there's so many places to put that. I always say, if you don't know where to put your bio, go Google yourself. Go Google your name and put like Stacey Alcorn Realtor. Put your name and Realtor or real estate and see what comes up on the first page of a Google search. And then ask yourself, if you Googled you, would you hire you? Because the bio is like the first thing. By the way, we live in a day and age that everybody Googles. If somebody doesn't know who you are, the first thing that they're gonna do is go Google your name. So get ahead of it and make sure that whatever shows up on the first page of your Google search, maybe it's your company website, your personal website. It's probably a realtor.com page. Many of you may not even realize realtor.com has an agent bio page for every real estate agent. And yes, you can go in and claim it and update it. But if you don't, it probably has the company that you worked at 3 years ago and an old photo and no bio. So that's what a stranger is going to see when they go Google your name. So this takes 5 minutes to do a really nice bio. What I want to remind you is if you were going to apply for a job in corporate America, you would show up to your interview with a really good resume. Like, you would look professional, and too often agents aren't doing those little teeny steps. And by the way, what we're doing is applying for a job. When we go on a listing presentation, we're applying for a job. When we go on a buyer presentation, we're applying for a job. So this is a little thing that could take 3 minutes to make sure your bio looks good on all the platforms that come up on the first page of a Google search. Any agent can use this. You put in your email address because it emails it directly to you. It doesn't come to us. If you're a Lear agent and you want us to update your bio, then go fill out the agent bio generator. It'll email you a bio. You can change it up and then send it to us. One last piece I just want to note about the listing description generator. Make sure you read through it. It does a wonderful listing description. You just want to make sure you're not violating any fair housing laws, which can happen by accident. So there's like trigger words in fair housing. You just want to make sure that it doesn't have words like walk-in closet or walking distance to. So you got to read through it because AI does miss that stuff. So it's on you to read through whatever the listing description generator comes up with, or the agent bio generator, to make sure it's good, really good stuff. Okay, so that is kind of everything for marketing. So in a minute, I'm going to hand over for a few minutes to our Chief Sustainability Officer to just talk about some of the things happening in sustainability, and how you could potentially build sustainability as a niche into your business. Either way, you got to know sustainability in today's day and age. So before I do that, I want to give you guys some of the lists that you should be working on, because I started today and I said to make sure that you are taking notes, because I don't want you to sit through a 3-hour program and not utilize it to get 28 hours out of a 24-hour day. And so the only way to do that is to make sure you're executing on a few things. So what we're going to execute on, here's some of my recommendations. Number 1, a listing presentation. So listing presentation is a must if you don't have one. Many of you might have one, but I want you to now look at your listing presentation as your checklist manifesto. Number 2, a buyer presentation. Absolutely have to have one in today's day and age. You're asking the buyer to make a commitment, you need a buyer presentation, and it is your checklist manifesto. Next, I showed you tons of brochures, buyer packages, a buyer guide, a seller guide, an investor guide, plus all of the forms, like marketing pieces like the Monopoly board and the local guide. You need to create a buyer package, a seller package, and a investor package. These are packages that you would put together in a nice folder, so that if you are at Starbucks grabbing a coffee and you hear somebody in line talking about real estate, you run out to your car, you have a Tupperware container with all of your packages lined up, and you go back in and you have a beautiful package that you hand to the person and say, I overheard you talking about real estate. That is my expertise and specialty. And I wanted to give you some information that will help you no matter what in buying or selling a home. And what I hope is that we could potentially work together. It starts a dialogue for you to get information, like a name and email, name, phone number, and email address, but you want to have something beautiful to hand them. So I would say buyer package, a seller package, and an investor package, and I would have 10 of them all done of each. So 10 buyer packages, 10 seller packages, 10 investor packages, because the energy of having them complete, you have this energy that you are open for business. Instead of worrying about, hey, if I go to the food store and I meet somebody that wants to buy or sell a house, I might not be ready for that. You want your energy to always be telling the world you're open for business. And then number 4 item to execute on, if you don't have this already, go Google your name and look at the first page of a Google search and what does your photo look like and what does your bio look like on each of the items that come up on the first page of a Google search, and then go change them or update them and make them look professional. So I still have a ton of stuff to cover. We're going to go through agent growth and development and agent toolbox, some other great stuff. But first, I want to have you guys meet Craig Foley, our Chief Sustainability Officer. And since our last meeting, Craig, I was sitting here, I forget what day it was, but it was in the last 10 days. I was sitting in my office, and all of a sudden, I have a quarry that's like a mile from my house. So constantly they're like blasting, and my house shakes a little bit. I was sitting in my house, and all of a sudden, though, my house started shaking like crazy. And I was like, holy cow, we just had an earthquake. And it's funny, like some people didn't feel it at all. I 100% felt the earthquake, and it is super unsettling.
Yeah.
So
I was at my New Hampshire house and I felt it all the way up there, Stace.
you did. I felt it, but then I was like, I talked to other people. They're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. You didn't feel that? I texted my mom. I'm like, did you just feel that? She's like, no. And I'm like, okay. I felt it. It was scary.
Yeah.
So how do we fix that? You're going to give us all the answers on how we as real estate agents can better prepare for all kinds of things, climate change,
Yeah.
etc.
Well, absolutely. And since, we last talked, First Street Foundation, which is a well-known kind of banking business offshoot of First Street, released a report. They do a lot of analysis about climate risk and how it impacts the industry. And they released a report last week that was pretty powerful in terms of what the expected impact, or there's a current impact. Definitely, we're seeing it in rising homeowner insurance costs, right, throughout the United States. And they're looking forward, using their predictive analytic tools, to look at the impact on our industry, in particular the real estate industry. And they're looking at a $1.5 trillion impact over the next 30 years, impacting our industry.
Wow.
And so even things like in that report, and this is on average for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? Insurance has increased from 8% of PITI to 20% of PITI
Wow.
over the last, I think it was 2013 to 2020, right? So it's not even the most current data. Think about what that means to debt to income ratios,
Crazy.
right? That could even impact, people, in very at-risk parts of the United States. We have Florida offices, obviously, which is an at-risk community, but this is impacting other communities as well. We're seeing this grow. We're seeing it on the Cape. Let's say I want to refi my house. I'm a first-time buyer, and I finally get to the place where I've got 20% you know, 20% equity in the house. I want to refi. I want to pull some money out to be able to put that money back into the house, preferably,
Yeah,
right? But all of a sudden, my insurance costs have gone up so much that my debt to income ratios don't make sense for the lender anymore. I mean,
mm,
you know, and for first time buyers, you know, these are big deals right now. Climate risk is a big deal. I mean, you know, I think a lot about when, you know, something happens in like what's happening in California right now, right? In LA. If you're a teenager with a average income family out there and you're watching this devastation happen to your community, perhaps to your own house, to your parents' stress levels, will you ever buy
right,
a house at that
right.
point, right? I mean, I think we have to start thinking about this generationally forward, and I'm very glad that National Association of Realtors is actually taking this stuff seriously, and we're looking at this. And I want to share one thing too. This is separate from my normal presentation, but I think you'll find this exciting and absolutely reinforces everything that you said. You know, uh, sitting in on the Lear boot camps for the last 5 years with you doing this presentation, I have absolutely bought into the idea that knowledge is power is just not true. That is bullshit, right?
Mhm.
Execution is power, absolutely. So as you know, I teach the green designation all over the place. I'll be in Anchorage next week teaching it. Um, and I've been part of the rewrite of the last several iterations of the green designation. We get funded every 3 years to rewrite it. And a lot happens in this intersection of real estate and sustainability. I think we should be funded every other year to rewrite it, but that's a different issue, right? So in this next rewrite, there's three of us that do the rewrite. Woman in Phoenix, excellent educator, guy in LA, and you know, I was talking a lot about my CEO and the fact that, you know, this idea of knowledge is not power, and we've, you know, you take the green designation, and as you know, you've taken it. The most common comment that I get is, "Wow, this is like drinking from a fire hose, the amount of information that we're getting. We have no idea what the impact on the industry is on valuation of high performance homes," right? Um, so we talked a lot about the knowledge that we're giving and how do we turn that into executable items. So the next iteration of the green designation will be officially released nationally, May 12th and 13th. I'm very honored that the Center for Real Estate Development asked me to teach that course. So that'll be a national course online that you can take. But one of the features of the new course that I think you're going to like quite a bit, Stace, let's see if I can share it here, is that, and I've been experimenting with this, right? So, first time I used this accountability checklist, which is a blank list that I gave to realtors when I taught the class in Raleigh, North Carolina in September. And after day one, this was the list. Now, this is blank until it gets to the end, in which I asked the students to set a goal for buyer agreement signed and listing agreement signed in this high performance home space, right?
Mm,
So here's an example of a realtor after day one that was filling in from the knowledge that they were getting and how to turn that into executable action items. And this is a young realtor. She had 2 years in the business at the time. And she set a goal for 8 buyer agreements signed for the year. You can see that this is set up for one-time events, weekly events, monthly events, quarterly events, and yearly events. And her yearly goal was to get to 8 buyer agreements signed and 4 high performance listings signed. I got an email from her on Tuesday, Stacey, saying she's met her goals already
wow.
by executing on a checklist. And this was just the stuff that she came up after day one for her checklist items. So I absolutely, you have sold me 1,000% that we can get all of the information that we want, take all the CUs, all the designations that we want, But if we don't turn that into executionable items, it goes no place, right? It just is sitting in a class and saying, yeah, I'm getting my C credits, and now I can extend my license for another 2 years in Massachusetts or whatever the state requirements are. But turning this stuff into executionable items and following that on a weekly, on a monthly, on a quarterly basis, and holding yourself accountable, right? It's not only the execution, but holding yourself accountable to those items makes a difference to your business, and particularly in this green space. So I just want to say thank you for, I've learned so much from you personally. I'm thrilled. I as you know, I love working for you. It really has made a difference, and now we're seeing it in this next iteration of the green designation. So thank you so much for all you do, and I want you to know that you're certainly appreciated.
And
All right,
by the way, for everybody, we have on our LAER agent services, I didn't even click on it because there's so much content there, but another checklist for agents that really want to focus on this space. We do have a listing presentation, a high performance home listing presentation, and a high performance agent buyer presentation, so that some of this stuff, if you're going to get the green designation, you can actually build a presentation, and we've already done it for you. Build off the ones we've already created. So all kinds of good stuff.
I mean, that's another piece that we're featuring in the green designation, is going to LAER agent services and pulling down the listing and the buyer presentations. I've been 25 years in the business. I never had a buyer presentation. That buyer presentation is excellent, particularly if you get this intersection of real estate and sustainability.
Yes.
So that's all being included. I'm going to talk about that in this presentation.
Awesome.
I did just throw into the chat too. I'm teaching for Greater Boston Association of Realtors via Zoom as part of their Manageable Monday series, The Fundamentals of Sustainable Homes, on February 24th. It's free for GBAR members. If you're not a GBAR member, Greater Boston Association of Realtor members, it's $20. This is a great intro. It's a fundamentals of sustainable homes. And I think you'll see that even with the fundamentals course, in 2 hours, you're kind of drinking from a fire hose as well. There's going to be lots of opportunities. You don't have to come to Anchorage on Tuesday and Wednesday to get your green designation with me. May 12th and 13th, NAR, like I said, is going to be offering the Zoom class for the green designation that I'll be teaching. And at Greater Boston Association, Zoom is great. I much prefer teaching the class live in a real classroom, like when you took it with Central Massachusetts, Stacey. I think the interaction between the students is so much more rich in a live classroom. And I'll be teaching it live for Greater Boston Association of Realtors at the Reading facility, June 17th and 18th.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a lot coming up there. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff going on here. This is just a little bit about me. I've been involved with our Realtor Association at the local, state, and national level on this stuff. As I said, I'm just thrilled that National Association of Realtors has looked at what's the impact of sustainability on the real estate industry in some pretty exciting ways. I'm very proud of our organization. And I've had the honor to serve both with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, representing NAR on Energy Advisory Council and an Energy Efficiency Task Force. I currently sit on NAR's executive committee because there's been a governance shift at NAR, and one of the 60 voting members on the NAR executive committee is someone that is a sustainability subject matter expert. That will stay permanently past my post from 2024 to 2026. We'll always have someone that has sustainability credibility on executive committee. So again, just a ton of really exciting stuff happening, and I'm really truly honored to have been involved with so much of this stuff and move this ball forward. So why do we talk about this stuff at LAER, and why is LAER proven to be a real leader in this space. As far as I know, Stacey, LAER did do some work on this when you hired me on my birthday, January 4th, 2019, to become a Lear agent and the chief sustainability officer of our company. We believe that this was the first chief sustainability officer position for a residential real estate brokerage in the United States. So we've really shown some leadership here. And there's a reason for it, because consumers are aware of this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. They're aware of the fact that, companies with good environmental reputations make sense for them to do business with. Now, this is from the Shelton Group from a few years ago, but their data said that 74% of US consumers are making purchasing decisions based on a company's environmental reputation.
We can't see your presentation.
Oh, you can't?
No, I think it's Zoom changed something. That's what.
Let me try this again. Thank you.
Yeah.
How's that? Is that better?
Hold on. It's much better.
74%. Good.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, this is data from the Shelton Group. So consumers are getting this. If you're a Lear agent on this call, you should be very proud of the fact that we've really led the industry in this space. The data coming out on this stuff comes out daily, Stacey. Multiple sources of data. This was, the Counselors of Real Estate, which is a big LAER group that looks forward in the industry. Their top 10 issues for impacting real estate in 2025. Yeah, you got it. Sustainability was part of their top 10 issues. Climate resiliency, climate change, climate risk is all part of this. High performance homes that are more resilient to a changing climate, right? There's now a fortified home standard that's being released in the United States, so that if you've made improvements to your home to fortify it against a specific climate risk that your area is most vulnerable to, there are ways to lower insurance premiums in some states. So this is, an ever-evolving topic of interest across the United States and the trade organization. I just want to throw this out here, right? I think a lot of agents wonder what the real market opportunity is, and I certainly get that. And it's much bigger than most agents think. This is from a website called the Green Building Registry. I'll throw it in after I've finished this presentation, so you can take a look at your communities. You can search by a zip code. And this is old data now. Massachusetts have over 200,000 homes in our state that have made significant green building improvements to their homes. And there is a registry. So if I go to Melrose, Massachusetts, which is where my primary home is and where I'm sitting right now, I can go to 02176. I can search there and find out that there's 700 homes of our 6,000 homes in our little community of Melrose that have significant green building improvements. And I can keep on scrolling down to individual dots. In fact, I can find my home on the Green Building Registry. So it gives an address, it gives the improvement of the home. And it even includes in Massachusetts solar PV, so solar panels on homes, right? We have a requirement in our MLS, if we're listing a home with solar panels, that there are 4 fields that need to be filled in if you're listing a home. Well, so many agents don't know what those fields mean, and they end up going unfilled, which is bad for the marketplace in general. Well, the Green Building Registry, particularly for Massachusetts, if you scroll down to a home or you search for an address and it has solar PV that was installed, I think before the end of 2022, you will find the information that you need, the 4 features that you need for MLS PIN in the Green Building Registry. So again, I'll throw in the URL for the Green Building Registry after we finish, so that you can take a look at this. Here's New Hampshire, where we have offices, over 7,000 homes with high performance features installed. But take a look at this next one, Florida, right, which has a very different political will than Massachusetts does to make these kinds of improvements, right? Look, this is old data. They had more homes with significant green building improvements in the state of Florida than the state of Massachusetts has. So just really interesting to see how this is unrolling across the United States. As I said, I taught this class in Raleigh, North Carolina, and the first thing that we do when we look at when I'm going into a new place to teach the class is what does the Green Building Registry say? Well, in Raleigh, North Carolina, one town, there were 14,500 homes with significant green building improvements. And again, if you scroll down, you can find the addresses of these homes with these green building improvements. Now, you don't have to be, a superstar to figure out if you've got the address and you've got the improvements, you can probably figure out who lives there through your public record and start to engage them about, particularly if you're a green designated agent, about the tools and resources that you have that other agents don't. So this is a real benefit to your business, Stacey, is what I think. In Massachusetts, there's a lot of stuff going on. We have the most rigorous building code in the nation now with the specialized stretch energy code that Melrose, where I live, has adopted. So very, very rigorous building codes happening throughout the United States. Education is a big part of this, as we've already talked about. Keep your eyes on Inside the Lion's Den, because I always try to update our agents on educational opportunities within the space so you can become knowledgeable and competent in this space, and you can become more fluent, right? I think if you're listing a home with solar PV on the rooftop or significant insulation improvements or a home with mini splits like my home has, right? You need to be fluent in that conversation at an open house or at a showing when you're showing a buyer about these new technologies that are out there. If you're uncomfortable with it, the client, or if you're the listing agent, the buyer is going to feel uncomfortable with it. And you have done your seller no service if you're not fluent more fluent in these conversations, right? And that's what all of this education stuff is focused on, is helping you become more fluent in this ever-evolving, changing marketplace with new technology that's out there, induction cooktops, air source heat pumps, ground source heat pumps, solar PV, right? All of this stuff is happening actively in the marketplace right now. I just want to highlight this and make sure you're all aware of this. When you go to get your check after you've finished a sale from LAER, we do have in the check request form an opportunity to fill out any high performance features or storm protection features that the property that you've either helped a buyer buy or a seller sell, if they've got those features, you can check these boxes in them. We're doing that so we can track LAER's sales in this particular part of the business. And no other real estate brokerage that I know of is doing that. We want to track high performance sales. Those green features on the left come from MLS PIN. Sorry about this. Take a sip of coffee, I'm sure that'll help. The middle features from the storm protection stuff is from the Beaches MLS in Florida. So features that make a home more resilient to a changing climate, to extreme weather events. There's 50 shades of green. So if there's not something that you see in here that is a green high performance feature, in that little box over on the right, you can fill it in there and let us know that as well. But please do pay attention to this when you're getting your check request form filled out, because we want to track this stuff as best that we can and show real leadership for LAER compared to our competitors that are out there. Stacey said that, there's some great resources for you with some slide decks that we created. One of those is for buyers agents. One of those is for listing agents. This one talks about climate risk and climate vulnerability, right? Which is becoming a big issue for buyers in the marketplace. We're seeing the data all over the place support this, that buyers are thinking about climate risk. It's why Zillow has riskfactor.com on the Zillow site. So if you go to a listing on Zillow, and you start to scroll down, you'll see that there's a climate risk factor that is included in Zillow with listings that are online. That is a partnership with this foundation, First Street Foundation, that is supplying that information to Zillow. Zillow entered into an agreement with First Street to add that data information to their platform. It costs them money for that licensing agreement, right? But they provide it for free for buyers. Why do they do that? Because buyers are interested in this stuff. They're clicking on that, right? So we're seeing buyer awareness about this topic growing on a daily basis. And we have the decks to be able to address that climate risk and climate vulnerability at LAER Realty Partners. So this is important stuff. Even if you're looking at these decks and it covers everything in both of these decks. Maybe you only want to choose one or two slides. You can do that with the Canva platform and add it to your tool if some of these elements that we're talking about for listing a high performance home or helping buyers find homes strike you as something that really work for you. And you can always contact me, ask me about these things, how to be more fluent in this conversation. For home sellers, this is a really important piece. I mean, it's probably the most important piece here. As a listing agent with a green designation, I know for sure that I have extra responsibility for my seller that has made improvements to their home that fit into these high performance features category. We can demand as a listing agent a qualified appraiser. What does that mean? Well, we've got a set of appraisers that have gone through the Appraisal Institute's Valuation of Sustainable Buildings program. Although we can't pick a specific appraiser because of everything that happened with the mortgage meltdown in 2008, we can demand a qualified appraiser as a listing agent. So we have resources for you that you can find in that sustainability toolkit that Stacey pointed out already, to be able to help you do that. And this is part of what we teach in the green designation, right? Is demanding a qualified appraiser. So for instance, if you have a home with host-owned solar PV, there may be $25,000 of contributory value using an income approach for that home. That $25,000 could save a deal. And in fact, I'm getting a referral fee, Stacey, from an agent that's not with our company that ran into a problem. This was in Winchendon, Mass. She had a seller with host-owned solar PV. The appraisal came in $30,000 short. The buyer's agent, one of her friends in the office, attended my Selling the Sun course and said, contact this guy, Craig Foley, because we probably missed some value. So the buyers wanted this to make sure that this was valued correctly as well. We went back, we challenged the appraisal with the lender. The lender understood what was going on with this after we got online with them to talk about this. They did get a qualified appraiser, and we solved that appraisal issue. It came in at the agreed upon price between the seller and the buyer. If the listing agent had no clue about this, which he didn't, or didn't have a buyer's agent that had taken the class, this would have been a problem for the whole transaction. I'm seeing this more and more and more now as appraisals tighten. Of course, in a hot market like we've been in for the last several years, adding the contributory value of the solar PV was certainly a possibility in the marketplace. Again, this is from the slide deck that we've shared with you online. Hiring a green designated agent, there's significant reasons why you want to do that rather than hiring any agent that doesn't have a clue about what's going on in this part of the marketplace, this high performance home marketplace. In all of the work that Stacey and I have done and the brokerage has done, it's really gotten us a lot of national attention at NAR and throughout the industry because we're showing real leadership here. So this is something to really take pride of with our brokerage. We've done a lot of work in this, and we've really tried to make sure that all of you have the tools to be able to succeed in this space. And there's an obligation that we have, right? Under Article 11 of our Code of Ethics, it requires competence. You know, here's Article 11. Look at how specifically, Stacey, this applies to listing a home with high performance features, right? When realtors prepare opinions of real property value or price, they must A, be knowledgeable about the type of property being valued, and 2, have access to the information and resources necessary to formulate an accurate opinion. That's what the green designation is about. That's what my role as the Chief Sustainability Officer for LAER Realty Partners is about, is making sure that you have access to the resources and information to form an accurate opinion of value. This is in the Code of Ethics for NAR. And then, you know, you look at GREB, Greater Boston Real Estate Boards, and this competency thing pops up again. Competent agents, right? I mean, this is getting to the place, Stacey, where if you don't have your green designation, you should be asking yourself, should I be really listing a home with high performance features with host-owned solar PV, or should I be referring that out to one of the green designated agents that we have here at Lear, right? And I think the answer is number 2, right? You need to think about your fiduciary duties to you, or at least partnering. You know, if you've got a team member that's got a green designation, you know, work with your green designated agent partner to list this home and make sure that it's getting the value that it deserves because of the improvements the seller has made. Then there's the Inflation Reduction Act. A lot of stuff going on right now with the new administration, but the Inflation Reduction Act gives homeowners really fantastic tax incentives to make these improvements. And my family, Stacey, you know, this was a big deal from my taxes last year. And when we file taxes this next year, I'm looking to save about $4,000 from what I would have owed the federal government because of the green improvements that I've made to my home, right? And that's a real story that I have when I'm speaking with buyers and showing homes that are the ungreenest homes on the face of the earth, and the opportunities for improvement and lowering your tax burden on top of that because of the incentives that are out there through the Inflation Reduction Act. You know, just to highlight again what's going on at NAR, this is our strategic plan through 2025. You can see that there's a real commitment by our National Association of Realtors to be leaders in this space. And as Stacey said, we've got a tool, the Lear Sustainability Tools in CareerDen, that is fantastic. It's got a ton of these resources. You can always go there, but you can always contact me as a Lear agent as well. So yeah, that's what I have, Stacey, in terms of big picture stuff going on here. A lot happened.
All right, awesome stuff. And I like to always just say the reminder that I still think there's an opportunity for agents to build this as a niche, but we're getting to a point that agents are becoming liabilities to their clients by not getting out there and learning and digging into like the green designation, so that at least you can answer questions properly and direct people to resources where they can get answers. So super important.
Hey, I'm just going to address one thing because Ashley asked, do appraisers need to be on a list of appraisers that a lender can use?
Mhm.
There is a list that the Appraisal Institute offers for appraisers that have gone through this very rigorous course set to get the accreditation of valuation of sustainable buildings, Ashley. So the answer is yes. And many lenders in Massachusetts already have appraisers on their AMC, on their appraisal management company list already. But I can certainly provide a list to any lender that's interested in adding appraisers to this list, because again, we're seeing this be more and more a part of transactions every day. Thanks for the question, Ashley.
All right, awesome stuff. Get out there and take a green designation course in your area so that you can be a resource for your buyers and sellers, because this is something that, like, every transaction is becoming, you have to know information on sustainability and some of the initiatives that are being taken out there, and you need this information just to value property now. So super important. And with that, let me pull up my screen again so that we can dig into some more LAER information. Let's see. All right, we are back on the LAER Agent Services page. Okay, I'm gonna share screen. Okay. All right, we are back on the LAER Agent Services page, and we spent the whole morning going through marketing, branding, and presentations. We're gonna head down for a minute to agent growth and development. First, I want you to add to the list of things you're gonna execute on. Even better, just go execute this one while you're looking at the screen and while you're on your computer. We're gonna head into classes, meeting, and coaching. But most important of all the different links here is our YouTube station. So if you go to youtube.com/LAER training, by subscribing to our YouTube station, you will never miss our classes. So I'm going to show you where you can go and see all the upcoming classes, because one of the things I'm most proud of with is the content that we put out every month. Like, we spend countless hours like honing the best of the best. There is a lot of real estate noise when it comes to training. There's just a lot of stuff, and it's really difficult to like navigate through all the noise and find really good training content. But I'm super proud of the content that we create each month. By subscribing to our YouTube station, just go to youtube.com/LAER training. That way you'll just get a notification when we add new stuff. That way, if you can't take a live class, or you've been so busy you haven't checked your emails in a couple days, not a big deal. You can always go back and take our classes at YouTube. But under the classes, meetings, and coaching section, a couple things I want you to look at is first of all, our training calendar. This is if you want to sign up for live classes. So for example, our boot camp's always the first Friday of the month, and it changes all the time. But if you go, you could see like almost every day there's training classes at LAER. Almost every day of almost every month, there is something happening. So you can go sign up for the live training. Some of these classes, it'll just say, hey, on this date and time, just go to laerzoom.com. And some of them have registration links. So you just click on it and it'll tell you how to show up for the class. But all of these classes are live instructors. Secondly, you can integrate our training calendar with your calendar. So whether you have an iCal or Google Calendar, you can just click these links here and it will overlay our calendar on yours if you really like taking the live events. A couple other things. First, we have a new agent resource center that I wanted to point out. If you click on that section, you'll find all kinds of videos like agent help guides and presentations and classes, really for newer agents. So for example, we wrote an entire book on a guide to home inspections. So if you're super new to real estate, get acquainted with real estate, like what different types of real estate there are, etc. So we have like this massive booklet we wrote about everything that home inspectors look at, but it really is an in-depth guide to like the structural real estate. Let me go back. There's also like procure and cause best practices. For some of the states, like Connecticut law best practices, Maine law best practices, things like that. So go check out all of that stuff. Secondly, if you want to sign up for coaching, I'm going a little bit back and forth. If you're a LAER agent and you feel like you need one-on-one coaching, we have a phenomenal coaching program. It's all based on the Algor-WIN program. So you could sign up for that. It's a 6-month program. You'll get assigned into a small group coaching, and you meet every 2 weeks just to talk about tools and training. It helps keep you on track. So it's really good for any agents that need accountability. So also we have a great printable training calendar. I like this. This is our January one. I think we need to update this. Because some agents like to print. Sergio, if you're on there, we have to update this. It's still got the January calendar on there. Because I like the printable calendar because you can print it out and just kind of hang it at your desk, so that if you have a morning where you had an appointment and your appointment cancels, you can still go you can go jump on to one of our classes. But let's go under business plans and growth systems. This is where there's some really awesome stuff that you need to check out. So first off, the Algor-WIN system. So basically 2 years ago, we wrote a manual, a workbook designed to get agents to 30 transactions a year. And it's all built off the checklist manifesto. So you can go download the booklet here if you've never heard of the Algor-WIN program, but basically it is a whole workbook that will help you build a significant real estate business. We built this book by studying high-performing agents. That is agents doing $10 million per year or more in sales. And basically we studied what are the things that all high performers do. And then we created these 7 simple checklists. But this gives you like the checklist, your yearly checklist, monthly checklist, weekly checklist, as well as a checklist for new seller appointments, new buyer appointments, new listings, and then people appreciation events. You can go download the whole workbook right here. I also want to point out, there's no link to it yet, but at LAERrealty.com/12-week Algor-WIN, where we just started a 12-month live coaching program with me. So if you like the Algor-WIN workbook, when you download it and you say, holy cow, this could change the trajectory of my business. And by the way, it has changed the trajectory of many businesses for many agents. So if you look at it and you say, this could change the trajectory of my business, then join us every Monday. We have 11 more weeks of it every Monday at 10:30. Just be at LAERzoom.com. And you can go take the live 1-hour program with us. And it is a deep dive into the Algor-WIN program. We would love to have you there. It's every Monday, 10:30 a.m. Just head over to LAERzoom.com. And if you missed the first class, just head over to our YouTube station and you can watch that. But we're very proud because it gives agents an absolute blueprint of what they should be working on each day to build a business, which is so important because there's so many distractions. It's so hard to know like which way to go. And then you get put on the wrong track because you see somebody else is doing something on social media or things like that. This is like gives you absolute focus to shut off what everybody else is doing in the world and focus on your business. We also have traditional business plan. If you like a more traditional agent business plan, Like, this is the kind of business plan that you could go Google business plan. We have that too. Some agents like a traditional plan where you evaluate what you did last year and your success rate at listing appointments, and figure out a blueprint for creating success. This is just traditional business plan. So you can just print this out. I think this is a really cool one to do with a team. If you have like a team, you could do Algor-WIN as well with a team, but you could print out our full business plan here. We also have a simple plan. This is a whole other type of plan that we have. So there's three different. There's the Algor-WIN program, a regular agent business plan, and then a simple plan. The simple plan is the third type, and basically what it has you really focus on is that traditionally it's real estate professionals. Agents do whatever you did for business last year, there's a really good chance you're going to do the same amount of business this year. So if you're a $2 million producing agent last year, then you're probably going to do $2 million in sales next year. And you're probably going to do $2 million in sales in 3 years. And you're probably going to do that in 4 years. Well, what happens if that's not good enough for you? You say, hey, I don't want to be a $2 million a year producer. I want to be a $20 million a year producer. Well, to have that kind of drastic change in your business, you have to become a different version of yourself. So this simple plan really focuses on a system to evaluate who you are as a human being right now and who you will need to become to accomplish different results than you've had up until now. So it really focuses on you defining who you are, and because who you are right now is a byproduct of your thoughts, your beliefs, your relationships up until this time. So this system is just a very different system for focusing on the incremental changes you can make to yourself to become a different version of yourself for different results. And then we also have a little income producing activity checklist. This is important because this time of year, it's easy to get down. It's easy to end up in a rabbit hole, like not working on your business. So the income producing activities checklist is just a nice little checklist. Like, hey, if you get a slow day, go work on something that's going to produce a result for your business. And then the third, we do have a link here for CE classes. Like if you need CE classes, we have a partnership with CE Shop. It's got CE classes for the entire country. What I love about CE Shop, most importantly, is if you're licensed in multiple states like I am, it saves all of your CE certificates, and you just took that Connecticut class on this. You could use that for your Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island CE. They do make you pay an extra $10 for each additional certificate, but it's so convenient if you have multiple licenses. All right, let's keep going. We're going to head down to technology tools. So we're going to talk about a few different technologies that can change your business. And then we still have so much to cover, and believe it or not, we only have 1 hour left to the program, so it's hard to figure out where is best to spend the last hour. By the way, while we're under the agent toolbox, I wanted to point out the sustainability. There is all kinds of resources. If you loved everything that Craig was talking about, we have a whole sustainability section with awesome tools and stuff for you to dig into. Whoops. Okay, so heading back down, let's take a look at technology tools. Okay, so a few things I want to go through really quick is, first of all, one of the things agents ask us when they're joining our brokerage is, are there any monthly fees associated with being with our brokerage? We have an optional $39 tech bundle that includes 3 products, and I want to cover 2 of them really quickly because even if you're not a LAER agent, these are tools that can absolutely change your business and your life. So the 2 that I want to spend just a few minutes talking about are Fellow and RealScout. So let me pull up, hold on one sec. So the first one I'm going to share is Fellow. And basically what Fellow is, it's a CRM. It's a system, like you need to have a database in real estate. Your database is your gold. So you absolutely have to have a database. And so there are tons of databases to choose from, but really you want to choose a database that is like set it and forget it. Like you put information in and it is going to stay in touch with people for you. So we have 2 different types of databases that we tell agents can be life altering. And one of them is Fellow. Hold on, I'm just pulling up. I won't be able to go through the whole presentation, but I want to give you a gist of what Fellow is. It is a system for staying in touch with your clients. You put all of your clients into the Fellow system. Now, if you're with in order to get the product, any agent can go get the Fellow product. If you're a LAER agent, you can sign up for a $39 a month tech bundle and you get the Fellow product. If you're not a LAER agent, I still recommend the product. For just an individual agent, typically this is an expensive product. It's usually around $300 a month. Even at that, it's absolutely worth it because it will get you transactions each year. There's no doubt it will create transactions for you. So a couple things to know about Fellow. It is a database system that markets to anybody you put into your database with an email. It will send a home value report to your seller or to your lead every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, the person from your database will get an email from you saying, here's what's happening with home values in your marketplace. And when they click on it, it is going to, hold on, I'm just trying to share this. As they click it through it, it takes them over to a page that is branded for that consumer. So each consumer has a special landing page that has a picture of their house. It shows how much their house is currently worth based on other comps in the area. It also shows what their current interest rate is, how much they owe on the property, things like that. But also the system has AI built into it. So let's go through really quick. It centrally organizes all of your leads. That's important because your leads, everybody in your database is your gold. You want to have a business that you could sell someday, then you need a database. It also allows for sending out emails and having like follow-ups, in that the system will notify you when there is a lead in your system that is clicking around because they're very interested in what their property value is. And it has this AI data that it will create reports. So when you log into the system, it says, hey, these are your top people. And it gives every single person in your database a score from 0 to 100. And anybody with a score of 100 or close to 100, like 80s, 90s, that's somebody that's going to sell their house in probably the next 6 to 12 months. And that is based on an algorithm of how much they owe, what their interest rates are, and what they've been clicking around on your site. So this allows you to scale your business and, most importantly, collapse your time a little bit, because instead of you having to figure out of your database of say 400 people who are the ones most likely to sell a house this year, this system is going to scrub all that for you. It's going to stay in touch with everybody for 2 weeks, and then it's going to constantly send you reminders like, you got to reach out to this person. It also creates like set it and forget it consistency, so that you're constantly in the email box of your potential clients. So what happens if you don't have a CRM like this? You're 100% missing out on opportunities, which means you're losing relationships. So if you do not have a good CRM, you're 100% losing relationships. You are not efficient, which means you can't get 28 hours out of a 24-hour day, and it's going to be super hard for you to grow. This is kind of basically kind of what it looks like in the back end of your database when you log in. But basically how it works, you upload your entire database and it starts emailing them every 2 weeks. So it kind of streamlines all of your marketing and manages all of your leads for you. And most importantly, it squeezes out of your database anybody that should be like a priority lead. So instead of you treating all 400 people like saying, hey, I got to go do pop-bys to all 400 of my people, it's going to give you each week, like, here's the 3 people you need to reach out to and make a call to or go do a pop-by to. The other cool piece to this is that it creates, we did a whole class on it, by the way. So if you like anything you're hearing, head over to our YouTube station, because you can watch our entire 1-hour program on how to turn this system into magic for your business. But most importantly, I want to head back over to the landing page section, because basically the way you create leads out of the Fellow platform is twofold. Number one, you're going to take your existing database of people who already know, like, and trust you, and you're going to import them into the database, and the system is going to start marketing to them. But secondly, you are going to create landing pages. So the days of the old school websites, like a static website where somebody goes and can search real estate, that is so gone. Like, the new marketing insists that you need to create landing pages where a consumer can click on it and get a home value. They want an instant home value. So the Fellow system creates that for you. So you go into the back end and you can create tons of landing pages. You don't have to have just one. But basically, you create these landing pages. It takes you under 1 minute to create a landing page. And then you share the landing page in your email signature line, on Facebook, on your business cards. You would have QR codes. I see agents doing QR codes on their signs, so somebody can snap a picture of their sign and get a free CMA on their own property. So this is a game changer. So that's all I'm going to share on that front. And then it basically pulls out of your existing list of people the best possible leads. But of course, you then have to go do something with it, like go call the person and engage with those people. So if you have a lot of people in your database that own property, which most of you do, most of the people that you're working with already own a home, and they're curious about what their house values look like in a changing and shifting market, which we're already experiencing. So the Fellow program is the program to get people to engage, and it will rate them for you, so that you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I noticed that you clicked on the home value report. What did you think of the value? Too high, too low, or just right? It starts a conversation with people, and then they could say, hey, it was way too low. I thought it would be higher. You can say, well, the market is absolutely shifting, but also, I have to say that the best way to figure out pricing for a property is an in-person visit. So what do you say about me coming out and touring the property so we can come up with an actual value for your property? So Fellow's a game changer. But what happens if you have buyers that you're working with? The other cool platform, which is part of our $39 tech bundle, is the RealScout platform. So I'm gonna have Ashley come on for just a minute and talk for just kind of give you an overview of what RealScout is. So all your past customers, people that own real estate, they all go into Fellow. All of your buyers, we're going to put them into RealScout so that you have two different machines working for your business. And with that, let's get a short presentation from Ashley to show us what RealScout can do.
Hi, Stacey. So I do want to do say two quick things while I share my screen. I did put the link for our 1 hour fellow class in the chat for everyone, and that goes to a page that has the link to the YouTube on it right there. And then the second thing is one of the questions that we had after we had done our class is, what if I have an investor or a client who has more than one property? That's totally fine. They can add all of their properties that they own into their contact card on Fellow. So if you do have questions and you are a LAER agent with Fellow and you have questions about that, just email Happy Agent or fill out the briefing form at laerrealty.com/briefings, and I can help you with that. I don't know why my share button is not working. You are right. Zoom did update stuff. This is very, very new to me too, because when I used it the other day, it was not this way. There. Can you see my screen? Why is it not sharing it?
It says you've started screen sharing, but it looks black to me.
Why is it black? I don't know why. There we go. Can you see
Yes.
it now? Okay. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, why is this all black and all weird? Yeah, I don't like that they've updated it because I was not prepared for their updates. All right. Why can I not present this either? I'm having the same problem you were with presenting stuff too. Hello, Canva or Zoom. There we go. Okay, so in RealScout, there are two different apps that I like to start off saying. So there's a client side app and a agent app. So if you are an agent, your app, if I can go back, I'm not sure why this is not allowing me to go back, Sergio. Don't know. Why can I not? Okay, there we go. So, back. Okay. There we go. So there's two different apps. One is an agent app. One is a consumer app. If you are an agent, your app will be a black background with a white house. If you're a consumer, it'll be a white background with a black house. The agent will also have the pro button across the top. So that's the two different apps to tell how you have the correct version. The next thing I do in RealScout is that I'm not sure why Canva is not letting me share my screen today. The next thing that RealScout does is that there's two different unique links to each agent within RealScout to market their own platform. One is to generate leads, one is an onboarding link. So if you have a client who is set up on a search, but they kind of want to set up their own search, they can set up their own search as well. So these are the two links. So the RealScout one, that is to generate the clients, and then the onboarding link is just to get new clients. So you can use those in your emails, in your social media, in your videos, in your mailers, on your signs, anything like that. And again, though, I'm sure those links could be turned into QR codes. I'm just not a QR code expert. The next thing with RealScout is verifying your MLS. So the cross MLS search, that just means that it's searching more than one MLS. So if you had your New Hampshire and Massachusetts license, you had both licenses linked, the default would be the cross MLS. So if you had somebody that wanted to just be in Massachusetts, you would just select the drop down, and then you would select which MLS they wanted to be in. I will caveat that if you do have more than one license in your RealScout and you are doing a state specific search, it won't allow you to do some of the specialty features like searching by a school district. That's just in one MLS, not the cross. So if you do a cross search between Mass and New Hampshire, it's just going to be more of your basic search criteria like you would get for MLS. Add in a new client, super simple. There's a button up top that says add client /alert. You would enter their email. I always do first, last name, and then the source. RealScout also introduced something called tags where you can tag if it's a buyer, a seller, buyer and seller, or other. So RealScout is kind of shifting to sellers as well. They used to be just buyers, but they are starting to shift to sellers as well. Once you set that up, it's going to bring you to your search criteria. You just enter all of your search fields. And what I really like about RealScout is this feature right here is that you can send an alert schedule daily, ASAP, handpick. If you do handpick, you're just going to have to go through it daily, go through the listings that are matched to that client before you send them. If you do daily, ASAP, or there's one other one, I forget what the other one is, it'll automatically send those emails. But I also check this box that says send copy to myself. So if it's a Saturday, I'm on the road all day showing property, I'm still going to get emails that my clients have been matched to 123 Main Street in Chelmsford, and I can see all of the property details right from that email without even having to get to my computer. Unique ways to search. So you can search, you can draw your own outline. So if you had somebody who only wanted to be in the southern part of New Hampshire and they didn't want to go north of Concord, you could draw that out. You could draw a polygon, you can draw a rectangle. But then if you had somebody who needed to be within, say, 10 miles of their job because they're on call and they need to be there within a specified amount of time, you can draw a radius from where they work. So there's different ways you can search. As I mentioned earlier, you can search by a school district or a particular school name, a zip code, county, condo association, development, or subdivision is another way that you can search. Updating your client search, super simple to update. You would just click on your contacts. You would select their name. And then once you select their name, it would, it'll bring up the listing alerts, the market activity alerts. And then if you would just select the edit button for whatever alert you wanted to update, it would bring you to that criteria and you would just update whatever criteria you wanted. You would save it, and then it'll ask you if you want to send any new listings to that client, or if you want to not send them, you can look through them before you send them. Auto nurture for clients. I have this enabled for all of my clients, whether a seasoned buyer, first time home buyer, whether it's their 5th property they've bought. What I like about this is that it's great to stay top of mind. So in a market where inventory is low, RealScout is still going to be sending relevant marketing emails to your clients. It's based on an algorithm within RealScout. There's monthly market activity report. I like to call this a heat index map. So this basically just goes through and shows you the number of buyers within a specific area. So this is why I call it a heat map or a heat index map, because you can see in this area, there was a lot of buyer activity and a lot of buyer interactions on this day for this specific area that I had done. It also breaks it down for you, and it also gives you a graph day by day or month by month. It also gives you top viewed listings, anything that was recently listed and anything that was recently closed. I use this when I'm writing an offer because I'm going to structure the offer differently. I'm going to make our offer more attractive to the seller. So instead of a $5,000 home inspection cap, I might do a $2,500 home inspection cap, unless it's a safety or health hazard that does need to be fixed prior to closing, such as a handrail going down a stairwell. So stuff like that. Again, what you can use for buyers, you can use for sellers. So I do this same thing for my sellers to properly price a house when I go to a listing presentation or a CMA appointment, because it's going to give them relevant information as to what's going on in their specific neighborhood, not just their town or city, but you can narrow it into just their neighborhood so they can get an accurate idea of what's been going on in their neighborhood. And then also, why is RealScout better? Above average search experience. It's more, I find RealScout more user friendly, more interactive between the client and the agent than MLS. Property searches, it allows the client to just engage more with the properties that they like or don't like by liking certain features, like in certain amenities, not liking them. And then they can also rate the property on a scale of 1 to 5 stars. There's also a mobile app, and it can integrate with different lead platforms such as Realtor.com and some other lead platforms. And then the last thing is, as you mentioned earlier, Stacey, let's talk about Zillow. Why we shouldn't be on Zillow. I throw this page in as the last page because we don't want our clients going to Zillow and then, you know, somebody who thinks is a listing agent not be a listing agent, and then all of a sudden all of their info is sold to multiple people. So that's just a quick rundown on RealScout.
All right, awesome stuff. Let me pull up another presentation. So those are a couple of the main technology tools that many agents use, but we're going to kind of scoot back to marketing for a second. So let me pull up a short presentation, and then I'll show you guys where to find this. And then we're going to go back and look at our execution list. Again, the things that we're going to execute on, but not before we go through some of the cool businesses that could change your business. These are the businesses for marketing and branding that can collapse that time for you so that you get, let's go back so I can show you where to find these first of all. I'm going to share my screen, share. Okay, so we're back at LAER Agent Services, and I just want to go down for a second. Let's see. This house here that says signs, apparel, and print marketing, there's a whole section of marketing pieces here. Yes, you can buy LAER signs, you can buy LAER stuff, but if you scroll to the very bottom, there's some important print marketing I want to point out, because these need to become part of your set it and forget it system so that you can get 28 hours out of a 24-hour day. So I'm going to go through each of these, but first I'm going to pull up a little presentation. I just want to show you where you could go find links to each of these. So we're going to do marketing, branding, and technology, 9 cool businesses that will change your business. So let me go back to there we go. Okay, marketing, branding, and technology. Okay, number 1 business that can change your business is MLSmailings.com. So MLS mailings, I think that there's a lot of opportunity in print mailings right now. Only because when we email, and definitely you need to have email systems in place, set it and forget it email systems. That's why I like Fellow and RealScout. But in email, there's a ton of noise, all kinds of noise that comes through on a regular basis. And so, there's a place that there's not as much noise, and that is print mailers. So I'm a big fan of just listed and just sold postcards, sending them out each time you have a new listing and each time you close on a new listing. What makes MLSmailings.com a little bit different than other vendors is that it's set it and forget it. In that it hooks to your MLS system. So you go in once, you upload your personal photo, your bio, your logo, and you hook it to your multiple listing service. You then tell MLS mailings, every time I sell a house, I want 100 postcards to go to all of the surrounding houses. So every time I list a house and every time I sell a house, here's the pricing on it. So for $96, it'll go to 100 houses, or you can do the jumbo postcard for $127. The MLS mailer sends you an email notification. So you just sold a house, you update MLS that this house is sold. You'll get an email from MLS mailing saying, here's the postcard we're about to send to all the neighbors. And then you can decline it if for any reason you don't want the mailer to go out, but why would you? Let it just go. If you don't answer the mailer, then it will, or the email, if you don't answer the email that comes to you, they just send the mailer out for you. Anytime you can find a set it and forget it system for your business, that is an opportunity. That means that you get more time with your family, more time with the people you love, so that you're squeezing out an extra few hours. You're no longer working off of a 24-hour day. The second one is tpmco.com, thepersonalmarketingco.com. Basically, this is a program, another set it and forget it system. And write this one down, write all of these down. TPMCO, one of the things, National Association of Realtors says that most buyers, after they buy their house, a very high percentage, like 85 or 87% of buyers say that they would work with the same real estate agent again in the future. But in reality, the percentage that actually do work with the same agent in the future is super, super low. Why is that? I think it's our fault. We're not staying in touch. So one of the downsides to our business is we spend all this time getting business. And then when we get the business, we spend so much time focusing on the business, we stop trying to get the business. So basically what tpmco.com is wonderful for is this ProPower client follow-up program. And basically you put your client in, they have other marketing stuff as well, by the way. This is just my favorite. The ProPower system is that after a transaction closes, you log into TPMCO, you put in the name and address of the person that just closed on their house, and for the next 5 years, that person is going to get 21 mailings from you. One of them is a thank you mailing. 10 of them are magazines with your picture on the front, your picture and contact information. And 10 of them are postcards with your picture and contact information. How much is it to stay in touch with a client for 5 years? $48, including postage. That's a one-time charge of $48. That is an insurance policy for you. The insurance is that you're not going to lose this customer because you get busy with other things, so you forget to stay on top of your database. So, here's the some stats for you. Oh, the one specifically I wanted you guys to see is 89% of buyers would use their agent again or recommend their agent to other people. However, only 11% actually did. That came from a statistic from the National Association of Realtors. So that's why you need to do this. This is your insurance policy so that you stay in this upper echelon that your customers keep referring to you. And then they have some other interesting stats, like 70% of consumers say direct mail is more personal than online mail, and direct mail open rates can reach up to 90%. So it's $48 plus including postage, and it stays in touch with your client over 21 years. I think it's a game changer. By the way, I don't get paid anything for recommending these products. That's not the point of sharing these with you. I do believe they're game changers. They allow you to squeeze out extra time in your day. If you want to get a free marketing packet, you can take your phone right now and scan this, and it takes you to a page at the personal marketing company where they'll send you like samples of some of their stuff so you can evaluate it. But what a game changer to make sure that you're not forgetting to stay in touch with people after the closing. The next one that I absolutely am obsessed with is Wise Pelican. Wise Pelican is for postcards, brochures, letters, greeting cards. If you're with one of the big companies, including Lear, when you go on to Wise Pelican, if you want to do like a neighborhood mailing and offer people a free CMA for their property, a free home value report, you can go create that on Wise Pelican. What's cool about it is when you go into Wise Pelican to do your postcards or brochures or anything, you just select your brokerage. So if you're with Lear, you select LAER Realty, and it gives you this massive product line of Lear branded marketing pieces. Awesome stuff. So this is under using the Lear link, like they have recent activity in your neighborhood. By the way, the other piece that's cool when you go into Wise Pelican, let's say you're doing like a recent activity in your neighborhood or just listed, just sold, it also hooks in with your MLS. So you don't have to sit and type out all this information. You hook it up to your MLS. That way it just pulls all the information you've already selected. And here's the load from MLS button. So very, very convenient and easy to use. I also love this free instant home value report. I would use the free instant home value report link right from your Fellow account. But you could have your QR code go anywhere. The Fellow account creates the QR code for you. So you grab your QR code off of Fellow for your instant home valuation, and then you put it here so that the leads come direct to you. Another product, number 4, that I highly recommend is RSPUSA.com, especially in Florida. Because they have these cool market research newsletters that they send out. Because there's so many in Florida, these huge homeowner subdivisions or homeowner associations, that it will pull, like in 5 minutes you can do a really nice like a letter, but on the back of it, it shows all the recent homes that have sold in the market area. They also, the other thing I like about RSPUSA.com is you can set up mailer campaigns. So a mailer campaign is wonderful if you're working with, for example, expired listings. You go and reach out to expired listings and you want to send more than just one postcard to them. You want a series to go out. RSPUSA is where it's at. Number 5, cool app for your business is Showami.com. Showami is having a whole force of on-demand showing agents at your fingertips. So you have this weekend, you have plans for the weekend, you have to go to a wedding, etc. But you have a client that wants to go look at a house, and you can go into Showami and find a showing agent that you can offer to pay them $50 to go show the property. Showami has the agents who are part of the app sign all kinds of disclosures so that they know they can't contact that client after the showing. So you're protected. But also, this is a great app. If you're an agent that's new to the business, you can sign up to become a Showami agent so you can make some extra money. And instead of being like an Uber driver, you could stay within the industry, go out and show real estate, the thing that you love, get to meet people, show them through properties so you can get an understanding of what property values are and what it's like to show real estate. So basically under Showami, you go in and you say, hey, I need one showing, $50. And then you can tip the agent as well if you want to. And then Showami keeps some of that money and some of it goes to the agent. But you can propose whatever you want. So I've seen agents use it, for example, for home inspections, things like that. Could be literally anything. Number 6 cool app for your business is Exposio. Exposio, first of all, I'm a huge fan of professional photography. I think every agent should be using professional photography on every listing. Because your every listing, you are auditioning for your next listing. So you should be using professional photography. And some agents still use iPhone camera apps. If you're using your iPhone to take photos of a property, then you should also use Exposio because it helps turn your iPhone photos into professional photos. It makes them look like they are professional. I will tell you, I've tried both Exposio and professional photography, and professional photography is still better. So there's like the lowest bottom of the barrel photos is from your phone. The next tier up is Exposio app. And basically you pay like, what it does is you upload all the photos that you just took of your listing and it shows you all of them re-exposed under their app. So it's a much nicer photo. And then you pick the ones that you want to utilize. If you don't subscribe to their product, which I don't think you have to subscribe to their product, they make you basically pay $1 per photo. You get discounts if you use it all the time or you subscribe. But in general, it's like $1 per photo for a re-exposed photo. But then the highest tier, the best quality is, of course, professional photography. The next one, number 7, is Yellow Letters Complete. This is also for direct mail. I love Yellow Letters Complete for handwritten notes in bulk. So if you want to send out handwritten notes to 400 people to invite them to your upcoming People Appreciation event, Yellow Letters Complete is where it's at. They will either do AI handwritten notes, or they'll actually pay people to handwrite the notes for you. So you can pick which one you want. Markful is also a wonderful place for marketing, especially I'm a huge fan of like making sure everybody knows you're a realtor, like wearing a name badge all the time, having a door magnet on your car, like all of that. You never know where the next potential client is going to come from. And by having, for example, a name badge, you're no longer a secret agent. And then number 9, homes.com. By the way, if you're not using homes.com yet, I love Homes.com only because they compete with Zillow. And what I don't love about Zillow is Zillow, too many consumers go to Zillow to search for real estate, and it's not a great platform for that. And then the client ends up at, or the person calls thinking they're calling the listing agent, and then they really end up at usually just a newer agent that's paying for leads. So they're not necessarily getting the best real estate agent. Homes.com, all the leads go to the list agent. So that's most important. But you can buy subscriptions to their products where they'll feature you. So if you have somebody that's just on their website, because they're outspending Zillow big time. So you're gonna see them on the Super Bowl next weekend, like they're outspending Zillow for advertising, trying to get consumers to come to Homes.com. So any of you guys that are working Zillow leads, you've probably seen a downtick in leads coming through. That is because of Homes.com. So they do sell advertising on the Homes.com portal. If you're interested, we actually have Homes.com doing a presentation for the brokerage. I think it's next Tuesday. If you head over to our training calendar, you'll see they're just doing like a live 1-hour program on what their product is. But what's cool about it is they also do all the professional, like Matterport 3D imaging and drone imaging on the property as well. So I think it's a pretty good product. And most importantly, I love that they're not navigating the consumer away from the listing agent. So those are 10 tools. So I would add some of those to your list of things that you're going to go execute on in your business. Specifically, I would say the MLSmailings.com I would execute on, and 100% the TPMCO, the Personal Marketing Co., so that you're not losing out on those people that just sold a house. So too many of us like focus, like I just sold a house, so now I gotta go focus on these people over here, and we forget about that person over there. We're not staying in touch. The TPMCO makes it so that you're not forgetting about that person that just closed on a property. So with that, I just want to hand things over to Sergio for a minute Sergio's going to give a quick rundown on some of the other marketing tools available at LAER. So I'll let you take over for a minute, Sergio.
All right, thanks, Stacey. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so I'm just going to go over a couple of programs that we have for our LAER agents in terms of marketing. These are for our LAER agents. Everything else that you've seen at marketing is available free to any agent, but these two specific programs are for our LAER agents. I'll go real quick. We only have around 15 minutes. So the first thing is our LAER marketing bundle. So when your home goes live on the MLS, so when your listing is live on the MLS, our team gets to work. We create a marketing bundle. So this includes a listing, a flyer, like a listing flyer. It's a one-page flyer with nice photos, as well as social media pieces that cover the whole transaction of your listing. So from for sale, newly listed, all the way to just sold. These are delivered to you via email as ready-to-use pieces. You can take the brochure and have it professionally printed, or you can print out at any of our offices. And then the social media you can use directly from your phone. You can open this up in Google Drive, or you can open up on on your laptop. Take some time. Stacey mentioned a content scheduler that you can use, so you can do that. Spend some time, at the start of the week and set up all of your social media. So let me give you a live demo of what this looks like. So you will receive an email that looks just like this. It says, the listing address and then your concierge marketing package. We have 3 links. The last link here is to download your bundle. So if you want to use it as is, we have our flyer here for this listing here. And then we have our social media pieces: new listing, featured, open house, sold, under agreement. We also include a LAER brochure that just gives general information about LAER. We have a closings, CTC closings flyer. This is our preferred lending partner. And then we have a simple open house signing sheet. So this is included in every single package. Again, they're ready to use. You can open it up in Google Drive. You don't have to be signed into Google Drive to use it, but it does come in handy because then you can just save this folder into your own Google Drive and always have access to this folder. Now, the other two links are for Canva templates. We use Canva extensively here at LAER. It makes it easy for us to share those original designs with you. So we have our brochure. This will open up in your Canva accounts. You have to be signed into Canva. For specifically for the marketing bundle, you can use all of this with the free version of Canva. We don't use any of the premium features for your listing bundles, for your marketing bundles. Now you can go in and make any changes. This is a live listing, so I'm going to make a copy. But let me show you how easy it is to make a quick changes. So if you have a price change down the line, you can just click on the box, on this text box, and very quickly make that price change. All of these photos are in frame, so they're all drag and drop. So if I go to uploads, I can upload a sample file here. Let's say I want to change one of the images here. Now, we do our best to choose the best images for your listing, but if you do want to change them around, you have that option. I can just click and drag over the new photo and it snaps right into place. And then everything else you're able to change: your contact information, your photo. It's all very flexible. Now, when I'm ready to use this, I can go to share, download. Because this is a flyer, I'm going to PDF print, and then I can download this as a PDF and either print it out at any of our offices or send it out to print at Staples, FedEx. And then we have our second link here for our social media. It's the same concept. We give you we give you everything here in your design. At the bottom, you will see two designs that we don't put in your folder just because we don't have that information yet. So the first one is the social media piece for an open house that includes the date and time, right? So we create these for you, but if you want to have a piece that has the open house with a date and time, you can go into your Canva template, add in the date and time. When you're ready to share, you can download this as either a JPEG or PNG and upload it to any social media. Or you can post directly to social media from Canva by going to See All, and we scroll down to social. You can choose any of these channels, so Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, TikTok. You can post directly to these social channels once you have your account connected to it. And then another piece we have is a new price. If there is a price change down the line, you can add in the new price and then use it as is. We have some other resources. One of them is to order a 4-page brochure. So if you fill this form out and choose 4-page brochure, give us as much info about your listing. You can just put in the MLS number too if your listing is already live on the MLS. One thing we do require is to upload at least 16 photos. Let me show you what that 4-page brochure looks like actually. If you went out and got some really nice photos, if you have a listing that it's a luxury listing, you went and got drone photos and you really want to feature your home on a nicer flyer, you can order one of these. We don't create one of these for every single listing. You do need to order it a la carte. But again, fill out this form, upload at least 16 photos. We can grab it from the MLS, but if you can give us, high resolution images, that's better. And then we require those 16 just because we have a lot of images in that 4-page brochure. So that link is included in your bundle. If you are a LAER agent and you don't see your LAER listing bundle within 24 hours of your listing going live on the MLS, let us know. happyagent@laerrealty.com is the best way to reach us. Now, the next thing I'm going to go over is another program that we have for our LAER agents, which is our LAER Social Media Assistant. So when your, I almost said when your listing goes live, what I meant is that every Monday morning, our team will send out a text message and email to you. That includes all of the social media posts for the week. So we give you 7 to 10 social media posts. These are given to you as ready-to-use images and also Canva templates. We also give you suggested captions and hashtags. Now, you get these via email and text message. So let me give you a live demo of that as well. So you'll receive it as an email, just like this, at the start of the week. So Monday morning, you'll receive this. It's the beginning of the month, so we include some Facebook covers that you can use. These are very simple to use. There's a little button here that says download. You can download that and then upload it to your Facebook page as a banner. And you can use these however you want. Again, we give you these Canva templates. So, you can even use this as like an email banner if you're using templates. Now, for the actual posts, we have several posts on for this week here. Now, these are very easy to use. So the way to use these is you download the image as is, and then you can copy your suggested caption. Now, this caption, you can use it, as is, but we do recommend that you customize it to fit your local market. So let me give you a demo on how to post this. Now, I'm posting this to Facebook, but you can post this to any social media. We try to make it platform agnostic. Now, we upload the image, right? And then we paste in our caption. I can then modify this caption if I want. There's a section here for contact information. We have a bunch of hashtags. Again, I can add or remove. I'll remove some of the contact information, some of the hashtags. You can add in your own hashtags. And then when you're ready to post, you can click post and it will post automatically, but you can use these with any content scheduler. And just like that, you're able to schedule out all of your social media for the whole week. Again, we give you everything as Canva templates as well. So if you do have Canva Pro, let me open this in Canva. If you do have Canva Pro, you're able to schedule out your content on your content planner. Now, every time you click on one of these Canva links, you open up a new design for yourself, right? So if you make any changes, if you want to change some of the images, you want to change the logo, you can do that on your own account. It doesn't mess with any of this. You can always go back to, for example, you accidentally deleted this and you can't get it back. You can always go back to our original design, click on Edit in Canva, and then use the template for a new design. Now, I can schedule this out in Canva by, again, clicking on See All. And then under Social, I can either post directly to social media, but I can click on the schedule feature. Again, this is a feature of Canva Pro. So let's say I want this to go out on Saturday at 12 p.m. Click Next. I can paste in my caption, which I had already copied, and then choose my channel. This particular account I don't have connected to anything, but once you have something connected, for example, your Facebook page, you can then schedule your content. In this case, I'm going to save it as a draft and then open my content calendar here. You'll see that it pops up a calendar, and it will also give you suggestions of different holidays. But it's very easy to go in here on Monday and schedule out all of your social media posts for the week. Now, again, you get this via email and text message. If you don't see it and you're a LAER agent, you can contact us, reach out to us at happyagent@laerrealty.com. And that's it for me.
All right, awesome stuff. We are at the end of our program. I just want to go through a couple things. First of all, most importantly, go execute on some stuff. Since you took so much time today to spend the day learning new ways to squeeze 28 hours out of a 24-hour day, we want you to do something with it. So make sure that you execute on something. I think it's a good idea to just write down 5 to 10 items that you're going to go execute on after watching today's program. A couple things I suggest is listing presentation. Build your listing presentation. Build your buyer presentation. We've done 90% of the work for you. Head over to LAER Agent Services and grab that stuff. Build your packages, your buyer package, your seller package, and your investor package, so that your energy is telling the world you're open for business. Go Google yourself and see what comes up. Put a nice bio on all of the websites that come up when you do a Google search of yourself. Use our AI bio generator. And then go check out some of the marketing pieces or marketing tools we spoke about, which is like tpmco.com, mlsmailers.com, so that you have some set it and forget it marketing working for you. And then go play with some of the technology we spoke about today. So maybe it's Fellow. I think Fellow is a game changer for many real estate agents. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube station so you never miss the great content that we put out each week. I'm back at the LAER Program and Services Guide. Again, download this. This is where we started today. You can download the PDF of this at laerrealty.com/success tools. I just want to go through quickly with you that once you get through the beginning pieces of this booklet, it's then broken down into 4 sections: marketing and branding, technology, training and coaching or career development. And then at the end, it talks about all of the services that we offer, like administrative support and stuff like that. Most importantly, it has everything we spoke about today. As you go through the guide, anytime you see something underlined, like laeragentservices.com right here, that's a link so you can keep exploring. We built this whole booklet so that you could continue to explore through all of the resources. And that is basically it. There's a lot that we didn't get to cover today, but I do also want to just bring you to the very end of the booklet. There's a list of LAER Realty and all of our office locations. Most of our offices are in Massachusetts, although we also have offices in Maine, New Hampshire, and Florida. If you are a LAER agent, you can utilize any of these offices whenever you want. Just go to laerrealty.com/office access. But also, if you are not a LAER agent and you liked any of the stuff that we covered today, I would love the opportunity to talk to you about the tools, training, and technology available at LAER. Even if we don't have an office in your backyard, we're expanding everywhere. So don't let that stop you, but there's a good chance we have an office in your marketplace, and if not, there's one on the horizon. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us for such a long program. It's always exciting every month to get to reevaluate all the tools, the training, technology. I do encourage you to come back. After today's program, this gets posted to YouTube, so you can go to youtube.com/LAER training and watch the rerun, or if there's a particular piece you liked from today's program. As well, we host this every month, the first Friday of every month, and it's always changing. So I encourage you to come back like maybe this summer, and I promise you it'll look a little different than it does today, because that's how businesses shift and mold and grow, is that you always have to be on top of the latest stuff that's happening in the industry. So that's why our presentation always shifts a little bit. So with that, thank you to everybody, and thank you to all of our guests for hosting today with me, and wishing you a wonderful February and first quarter of 2025. Thanks, everyone.